негізі қалай дұрыс болады өзіңіз
Maybe we make some compact group, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, just to see everybody.
Yeah, please come closer. Please, you're welcome. Mr. Carlos.
Yeah, please come like this.
So you have very short visit for us, only 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I think it will be better choice if you stay 1 day and we make you drunk and you're happy leaving leaving Kazakhstan. Please, Dana, угощай, пожалуйста.
인터뷰로 그냥 하나 한 15초만 짧게.
So here our vineyards, or actually we have 3 plots. 3 kilometers down we have another plot of vineyards, and 2 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers close to the village we have also one big plot. So we have 3 different plots, and climate kind of different because different altitude. Here 950 meters. It's quite high altitude, and low down we have about 900, 850, and 950 up to here, this level. So, and it's quite high altitude because, you know, in many countries wine grows on the sea level, and it's quite unusual. You can see it's flat, very flat, but it's we call it mountain vineyard because all vineyards higher than 500 meters are classified as a mountain vineyard. So what we are quite flat area. So, and all these plants been planted during Soviet Union time, 40 years ago. These plants 40 years old. So it's not so young, but looks very nice. And what's the special of this whole area? Because there is no phylloxera. No phylloxera, and all vineyards here on their own roots, not grafted. It's a very big difference compared with most wineries which use grafted roots. I think you know these small specifics. So, and briefly, if I say about the history of vineyards on this area, it's very ancient area. Very ancient area. Here you see the hill. Actually, it's not simple hill. It is Sax tomb. We call it. It's a Sax kurgan, and you know the golden man. The golden man comes from this kind of hill. So all these hills around this area, planted here, and also in the mountains, is a Sax kurgan. When the kind of famous person, ancient person, this kurgan about 2,500 years old, and kind of famous person, warriors, or the leaders, or kind of leaders of the tribe, they've been buried in this kind of hills. We call it kurgan. So, and this kurgan is 2,000 years old, and in all kurgans which discovered here, always been found the grape seeds. It means that grains, grape seeds. It means that grape was very high reputed and high demanded culture at that period, 2,500 years ago. And even in territory of Kazakhstan, in these kurgans, we can find very wine structured clay pots, and also hums. If you know kvevri, we call it hums, kind of clay made big volumes where people storage the grains, the products, and also they do wines. And in territory of Kazakhstan also founded the old type of wineries. Old type of the wineries. It's in Jambul area. It's discovered. It's everything already discovered and described in the by archaeologists. So, and you can find in very ancient historical sources that here on this area, in the 6th century, very famous Chinese traveler, he brought actually part of the Buddhism to China. He traveled this area and he discovered all this history, all this area, and also he wrote about the vineyards here. He wrote about that. And then in 13th century, one of the Rome Pope ambassador, Marbruk, he had mission here in Central Asia and to China, and he also wrote about the nice vineyards here and nice wine, and it's historical facts written in all these manuscripts. So and after when Genghis Khan era, it was a area of the wars. People moved, and culture of vineyard been destroyed and lost. And after Muslim culture when comes here, it's been forbidden to cultivate the wine. So it's been period when the grapes here been not cultivated. Cultivation stopped. So but during Soviet Union time, but all area of Central Asia, like Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, they have this still continue. It was stable grapes. But in Kazakhstan, this was break of the viticulture. It's been as a kind of vineyards close to the home to make the grapes for table, eating grapes. But when the Soviet Union this planning system starts, it's been decided to many places Kazakhstan to start to grow the wines and to produce the wine. Grow the grapes and produce the wine. And actually it's been very deep research from 1940s till 1950s, 20 years research. And Soviet Union planning agronomic was so strong and so well planned, and they do different kind of research stations in different areas of the Kazakhstan, and they discovered, for example, from 500 grapes, which grape most adopted to this area. And they did this research, and they make big book. I have this big book, and then describe to which area of Kazakhstan which grape is good for which kind of wines or which kind of table grapes. And this area been discovered as a very good for drying wines, and they describe all this area very good area for Pinot Noir, Riesling, Saperavi, Erkatzetel, and many other grapes. And here it was kolkhoz. Kolkhoz is kind of communist type of the farm, which is state-owned property, and people being like not shareholders, like cooperative.
Yeah.
Cooperative, but it was fake cooperative because people had only salary and doesn't have any kind of links to the result. And this was a big kolkhoz, and it's so quite big. So in Soviet Union time, here it was 1,000 hectares of vineyards, 1,000 hectares. And after these Gorbachev reforms come, he stopped and started to cut all vineyards around the Soviet Union, and partly it's been cut also in this area. And then in the late 90s, under the kind of management of the monetary fund, describes the reformation of agriculture, and all plantations been divided for small parcels and given to private people. But it's impossible, to divide this one for 10%, and 10% cannot separate it to make production. So it's been everything abundant. And if you see here, the park, kind of park, it's not park. It's not park. It's a wild tree, which started to grow 20 years ago when this vineyard's been abandoned. So in all kind of this tree been here, and 7 years ago we cleaned everything and start to make reconstruction. We put these stands, we build the lines, and we start to make very proper cultivation, and we bring new life for these vineyards. And you tested these wines. We can где это там Riesling принесут и фужеров может еще. You tested now these sparkling wines, and we can test now Riesling from this vineyard. And it became very famous wine because we already got several times there is a kind of Riesling Demandé. It's a world competition of Rieslings in Strasbourg. Strasbourg is kind of heart of the Riesling area, because from one side Alsace, other side Rheingau-Mosel, and in the middle it's Strasbourg. And they do this competition, Riesling Demandé. And we had gold medals and recognized one of the best Riesling in the world. And you will test it now. So, and this area, now we developed of the new vineyards here. New vineyards. What's the secret of the new vineyards? In 2007, 2008, I've been, kind of attached with the French culture, French vineyard, and we brought from France different grapes, but all the grapes are grafted. It means American roots and grafted some kind of fresh varieties. When we brought it and we plant, we call it French vineyard. But what we recognized that our old vineyards on their own roots, they give a much nicer grape compared with what we brought from France. And we decided, because no phylloxera here, we decided to replant. We cut part of branch of vines and we make a new plant and we plant it here. So it will be a new vineyard on the non-grafted roots. It's kind of it's kind of very big job. It's a sensational job, because when we will have Gewürztraminer, Chardonnay, which on non-grafted roots, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, it will be completely different life and completely different wines, which will make so this Riesling, we call it Kazakh Riesling. Because why Kazakh? Because it's already adopted to this climate, to everything. If somebody of you keen to Riesling, you will see the big difference. Is there people from France or Germany?
Germany, yes.
Are you from which part of Germany?
I'm from Baden-Württemberg, which is also very famous for its wines.
It's Rheingau.
No, Rheingau is a bit northern.
Pfalz?
No, near Stuttgart.
Near Stuttgart.
Pfalz is in the north.
It's a north
Yeah.
of Mosel, huh?
Yeah,
North of Mosel.
it's the federal state of Rhineland-Palatinate, which is...
We all wines, because they're on their own roots, we grow the wines not from stem. In Europe you have a stem, like this high or this high, and you have branches, and from branches you have a wines. Wine is mean one branch of the grape. So, but we cultivating all wines direct from the roots. So, and they are flexible. They are quite young, because after 3 years we're cutting old wines, and these young wines is kind of flexible, and we put on the ground. We put on the ground these wines, and after snow covered all these wineries. And under the snow, the temperature is -10, -15, so it's quite comfortable temperature for the wines. So we kept wines under the snow for the winter, and each spring we lift up all these wines, and each autumn we pull down all these wines on the ground. So it's very big handwork. And what's interesting here? We do all our jobs manually, because we cannot use techniques here, because it's different type of the cultivation. So, and all 170 hectares we do all job manually. It's very good for the grapes, because grapes reflect for this manual job. And we don't use any chemicals. And for example, Francesco, he comes from Argentina. He's my guest today. Francesco, he's very famous Argentine company Antigal, and he can be surprised. We do not use any sprays against any disease, because no disease here. the most biggest problem for all vineyards around the world is a hot and humidity. When it's humid, it's kind of fungus starts to develop on the grapes. It's a big problem. Here, not any funguses. Why? Why? Because you see these mountains and with the glaciers, and from the mountains at night it comes very cool air here. For example, now today it will be 38 plus, but at night it will be plus 17. It's a big drop of the temperature, and all funguses, they need stable temperature plus 22 and higher, and kind of humidity like 80%, 60%. And in this case, these funguses develop and they kill the grapes. But here, very cold night. It's no chance for all kind of these funguses to develop at night. And then it's very hot, like 38 plus, like today. Today, when you live here at 3 o'clock, it's at 1 o'clock, it will be 35, 38. So, and you see very dry air. Very dry air, always air here. Air comes from mountains or to the mountains and from west to the east. And always very windy here. And after any rain, in 2-3 hours, all the leaves became dry. So it's been very kind of bad condition for the disease, for the funguses. And why this grapes very healthy? I am doing my job here 13 years. In 13 years, in only extreme temperature and extreme climate conditions, we do only 3 times spreading. Only 3 times, you can imagine. Francesca can say in Europe you have to spray 10-15 times per year. As they call it kind of, you can call it natural protection with kind of natural elements, but in any case you have to use, we have to use cuporos, or we have to use kind of, chemical substances. So very healthy grapes here, very healthy. And you can come and see leaves. Francesca will surprise, they are very healthy. If you go there when abundant vineyards, with wild vineyards, they leaves very healthy. Разносило кошель.
Beef meat with onions, please. Additional kazak. Okay. So 2 types without meat and with onions. Also right is onions.
We're selling now to Europe, we're selling to Russia, we're selling to China, we're selling in Kazakhstan.
Tissues are here. Oh, okay.
How much do you produce? How much do you produce? How many bottles do you sell all over the world? How many bottles do you sell?
Bottles.
Bottles, yeah.
We can produce from 200,000 bottles to 400,000 bottles. Depends from the crop harvest. So, but we try to manage here the very low yield for the quality. We are targeting the quality. We are not targeting the amount. We're targeting for the quality.
And I like it.
And actually, many of our wines also well reputed in the international markets because we are participating on many different top-level competitions. And always we have very good remarks and very good medals, gold medals. Many of our wines in Pinot Noir and Cabernet Franc and Riesling and all our wines very high reputed ones.
Mr. General, sorry. Could you tell me please what's the exact period of grape of growing starts from here?
It's been annually.
Yeah.
So
April or from May?
So the blossoming. So first we are lifting up the wines in April. In May it's kind of start leaves, and in June it start blossoming. Beginning of June it start blossoming. This year it was end of the May blossoming, and we start harvest harvest ends of August, September, October. Beginning of the October we finish, and in November we are again putting down the wines on the ground.
Preparing for the round.
Yes, preparing for the winter.
Rojo wine. Very elegant. Yeah.
What?
Can I ask you for a short interview, maybe later?
Okay.
Maybe this is
Okay,
not the right
just
time.
make a little bit drink and food.
Yeah, but
Oh, stop work, please. Relax. Korean hard workers.
yeah. Perfect. Can I give you a mic?
Okay.
안 닫아도 돼요? Yes, the other one.
Oh, what are we doing?
To make it look.
You want here?
My boss will.
Раз. 1, 2, 3. That sounds good.
왜냐면 여기 너무 햇빛이 들어오니까
I can stay here. Or here.
What you check?
Раз.
What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Zeinullah Kakimjanov, Arba Wine, Kazakhstan.
Can you please look at me?
Look at you.
Don't look at the lens because
Okay.
it's not natural.
I think it's good lens. You can look.
가면 돼.
Can you explain the history of this vineyard?
Maybe you can go down instead. Okay. This vineyard you. So because after cold to stay here, it can be a little bit, illness. So we can test some wines if you want to see some movie or some film, or you want to drink more wine. It's your choice. Okay. Let's start to drink Arcazzetelli. Arcazzetelli, very ancient variety from Georgia, which very well adopted here. Very nice quality grapes. So take your glass. Take your glass.
Thank you.
This country. Nice wine from tanks. So if you would like to get more, please don't hesitate to drink full glass or 3 glasses, no problem. Аркацетели. Он у нас лежат здесь с ягодным, да?
Да, 40% ягод.
Попадем. So here it was Soviet Union type of winery. If you go outside, when you go outside, you'll see big tanks. It's in metal, and actually it's very nice tanks because they covered inside by the ceramic. It's fantastic, good quality tanks. But all these tanks be placed here, and we move everything and just bring new equipment. And all this equipment is kind of very high quality. These high pressure tanks to make sparkling wines for Sharma. Here we have very special tanks, very fantastic quality from Gortani, Francesco. We do special design from Gortani with the chains inside. It's very good quality tanks. And you will see our idea to produce only high top quality wine. Because if in Kazakhstan, a known country, we produce something normal, average, people don't will accept this one. So we produce top high, and what's our problem? People in the world mostly don't believe that kind of Kazakhstan companies, Afghanistan, opium, these kind of things, and Pakistan, association, Kazakhstan wine, Muslim country, but no. We have unique climate, unique winery. We have unique history. And we invest a lot of high top quality equipment, because from this equipment depends a lot. How we control temperature, how we clean this one, and what kind of type of the barrique, what type of the bottling machine, or this kind of filters. So it's a lot of influence by the equipment from the wine process. If you see outside, we have huge pneumatic press machines, very nice quality. If you go to our storage, you will see very good level storage. I mean, good control in temperature. So we have everything high standard, because our grapes, high top quality grapes. We put high top quality equipment, and we do very traditional high top quality vinification, and we do very good wine. If you will check in our brochures how many gold medals we won in different competitions, you'll be really surprised. And all these competitions, we send our wines only the toppest world competitions, except Wine Spectator in USA, because we have to be in USA presented in the market, and then we have to put our wines. Дайте мне курточку, какую-нибудь. Жилетку, курточку. Жилетку принесите. So, if you want something to repeat, or we can test Sapiragi, huh? Okay. You can see drop here. Yeah, please.
I want a picture.
Huh? You want more? No. Please. If you want more, don't hesitate. Please. Oh! Nice, man! Count, please.
You see?
Please. Whoa. Come on, please. Come, please. I like your wishes.
Thank you.
Oh, even Argentina want to drink more. Good sign. Good wine. Yeah, good man. Really good test. Good. This one is very unique.
Very good.
You cannot find this kind of variety in Europe, in the world. And I do not open the secret of vinification. But here something very special. I invented special vinification, we did it. Very interesting. Okay, ladies, where's your glasses? We have to take red wine. Yes, so, white drinkers can stay here, continue. You can finish, no problem. Stay 1 week here, yes. And you put it in the box and bring your home. Okay, yes, давайте. Take glasses. Just drop your seats, don't worry. No Japanese style.
Что ты?
Где? Где?
Вон, Саулен.
Oh, this is beautiful picture. Fantastic beautiful picture. Oh, you like it? Make it. Don't try. So, you can move this side.
I take it off the finger.
Please, 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 please.
It was in glass.
Please.
I like wood.
Please, please. Ah, you can move this side. Darugade. You can see density and color. It's very high tannins at the chance here. That's no wine. You cannot find this kind of type color in Mendoza. Please, 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 please. Please, please, please. Aquí ваш стакан. Да нет, это полезно для службы. Веселые будете, служить будете весело. Давай, на троих. Попробуйте, хорошо? Я уман. Министр скажет, что хорошо работает. By molecular analysis, it's most complicated grape in the world. Very rich with all macro micro elements, different types, you know, the structured flavonoids, tannin, antioxidants. Very rich grape, and very well adapted to the different climates. So this grape can be in the future, after 50 years, one of the most developed grapes in the world, because it's been fixed in the Soviet Union. Soviet Union doesn't allow to make distribution of this grape around the world, but now the world open. You can plant in Australia, in Argentina. Actually, Francesco, very nice to plant Sapiravi in Argentina.
Very nice.
I can send you the plants if you want.
Yeah,
No, really. No, just present for you.
oh, very nice.
Yes, plant Sapiravi in Mendoza can be very good. Huh?
That's going to cost you dearly.
Ah, okay, we'll speak up. You help me to structure the deal, okay? And you will see a little bit color, but it's very good color.